Hello everyone, this is Shadow Dragon back with more DC Universe Online. So I'm going to be continuing a little bit more coverage on Game Update 94. So now that it's live, we can get a more in-depth look at some of these updates. So I did want to go into detail more on the Universal Tier vendor, because I don't think it was totally complete when I last looked at it on test, and you can check out that video in the card to the upper right. So we're just going to take a look at it with a bunch of real characters, because there are a lot of things happening in that vendor, and it's probably not what it sounds like to most people, because when you call something a universal vendor, you think it's going to have everything in there. The fine print was that it goes up to episode 31, I believe, which kind of makes sense because that was the last skip point. So that puts you, the last skip point puts you at the beginning of Earth 3, which this should cover up to.
Performing scheduled patrol.
But the other things, I don't think the vendor is going to carry every set up until then. It seems to be like a dynamic thing where it changes based on your CR, and it kind of gives you what you should, acquire next in order to jump your CR the best. So just putting all of that together, it seems to be like a helper for new players rather than a completionist. Because if you're a completionist, you want to complete the sets and get all the feats. And I kind of don't think this vendor does that, but we're going to go ahead and test that. Okay, so right now we've got two characters. They're both CR 100. Jen displays a 99, but her actual CR is 100. And the difference here is this account that I'm recording on is a premium account. So I'm going to see if there's a difference between a premium and the other characters on my main account, which is legendary. Alright, so here we are at the vendor, Mechanical Supply Officer. So just look for that name. I don't think he's in the same exact place in all safe houses. Okay, so
have a fine day, combatant.
I'm going to take a look at Anna first. So right off the bat, what I'm noticing is we're seeing the Themysciran battlesuit. And I think that's a couple of sets ahead of where she actually should be. So first of all, that's a DLC set. So a premium player is able to get these now without paying for the DLC. That might seem odd at first, but I mean, if they need to fill in the blanks and get players up there, they pretty much have to do this. And I think that's probably why it skips certain sets. Because normally at 100 you're going for the one in Gotham Under Siege, Strategos. So they skipped over Strategos and they're going straight to the higher CR, Themysciran battlesuit. And let me see if that's the only one that displays. Oh, I guess this is actually pretty hard to test because she obviously has some suits completed. So we have Atlantean Monarch, which is a T5, and that was tied to Origin Crisis. That was the weird one where it didn't match the theme. So the missing one here is Trigon. There was a Trigon set. I'm pretty sure she doesn't have that completed. Oh no, wait, I'm wrong. I did buy that DLC on this account. So yeah, that's kind of an unknown. I'm not sure if it's going to skip over that one or not. No way to test that. But you see, it doesn't go that far back. I'm trying to think if there's a DLC T4, but yeah, I don't think any T4s are tied to DLC, at least vendor ones. Alright, so there are two sets on the premium account. Let's see what legendary displays. So you won't see this, but I'm looking at Themyscira Battlesuit also, and scrolling down. Okay, so whether a suit is complete or not, it displays here also, because my legendary character has Atlantean Monarch completed, and it still displays. And there's also nothing additional on the legendary count. It's exactly the same as premium. So if you are premium, you are going to get at least a handful of sets for free that you weren't able to get before. Okay, so now we're going to look at two very different characters. One is a pre-30, but above 25, because there supposedly is a new set in here for level 25 up to get you started. So we'll look at the lower one first.
Hello, combatant. The authorized number of training marks can be exchanged for sections of state-of-the-art combat
wow.
equipment.
So there is a level 25 House of L warsuit. And this is the classic one. This is not the 2019 House of L. But still, it's pretty cool that you can get this set like really early. It used to be a T2. And that should be the only thing. Although the difference now is you actually can get a controller or a roll set here much earlier. And they're showing the T1 suit also. That's a little odd. Oh, okay, they do lock it to level 30 at least. And note that this is the East End station, and it's not swapping out that T1 suit for the, the matching tech one. It's just showing the magic one. So that again reiterates that it's like a helper vendor and not like a style completion vendor. Okay, so now let's check out the other character, who is T3. 61 is T3. So what I see on the other account is Sunstone Edge. And that's the regular T3 DPS vendor. And then Kryptonian Commander, which is the roll set for the controller. So you will see something different here if you're a healer and tank. But yeah, that is all that displays. It goes one level back because I do see the House of LT2 version here. Okay, so it just seems to cover two levels. The one you're at, which will upgrade you, and then you could fall back and get and clean up the other one that you didn't complete. Alright, so we're taking a look at this one from the villain side. On the premium account, we do have an Earth 3 character. It shows 207, but he is actually 210 because I used the skip on this character. So let's take a look at what the end of this vendor will display. So yeah, they're giving away the Owlman set, which they sort of already gave that away, because whoever used the skip, whether it's legendary or premium, they opened up this DLC to everybody. So if you missed out on that, they are giving it out in this vendor. Let's see what else we get. So they've got the Riddled with Crime style. Now they didn't open up that DLC, but they're opening up the set. And if I remember correctly, Riddled with Crime only had a vendor set, and it just recycled the drop because it was like one of those mid-tier, like short DLCs. And my other character is at the same level as Sylvia, so T3, but we'll just see what the villain side displays. So Sunstone Edge is still the same, except you get like the Zod chest version of that, and she sees Sunstone Bulwark, which is the tank version of T3. And as we scroll down, it's Joker's Punchline. So they went tech for the T2 makeup set, whereas on the hero side they went magic. Okay, so those were a couple of examples. Something important to note though is that because it only displays 2, if you're a free player or premium, I would suggest that you go through each tier slowly and try to get those free sets along the way. Because the danger here is, like we saw the beginning T6, and then I just showed you where we are at Earth 3, and Earth 3 doesn't go back and display everything in the middle. So if you leveled up really quickly, you would have only gotten certain pieces of that Themysciran battlesuit. And once you jump past that, that set would have disappeared from the universal vendor. If you're a legendary player, obviously you can go back to the regular vendor and go and get that and complete that style. But if you're a premium and you level too quickly beyond that set and the feat, you're not going to be able to get that again. You'll just be skipping onto the next set. So yeah, definitely be sure you don't level up too quickly if you want to get those feats. But if you're legendary, you're okay. If you're already a veteran and you're familiar with where the vendors are, I would just ignore the universal vendor. It might add to more confusion because of how dynamic it is, whereas the others are kind of fixed, and if you know you're missing a certain style, you know where to go. But this one might not necessarily display all of that. For the tiers that have multiple sets, it's only displaying one of them. And you're going to come across that with the lower tiers. There's 3 sets for 1 and 2, as well as 3. There are 4 sets for 4. It's too bad I don't have a character at that level where I could display that, because that one would have been interesting to see what they picked. And then T5 is kind of confusing in itself, because there are several sets, and as you complete one, you may skip over another. I know somewhere along that T5 T6 range, I always seem to miss that Blue Lantern set because it's in the same vendor as the Green Lantern one. So yeah, the 2 takeaways is level slowly if you want to get if you want to try to squeeze as many of these additional feats if you're premium, because they are giving you some free sets that you didn't have access to before. That's really cool. And then if you're a completionist, just go about it the old way, if you know where everything is. But yeah, that's kind of my breakdown of the universal vendor. It's really more of a user experience for a new player coming in, because that way they could just keep going there and just leveling up. But I kind of wish it had a better name than universal vendor, because it's not really that universal. Okay, well that is it from here. I'll probably break down some other part of 94 in the next video. Okay, hope this helped you out, and thanks for watching.